By the way, if any woman wants to come up, you can. If not, then I'll be ending the stream in about 5 minutes. Go ahead, Gia.
Thank you so much for this, and I really hope that you share everything. Oh, I don't. Is someone saying something?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. I have a question for you, and I wanted to know, with everything that has been going on in the recent news, and I'm particularly talking about this Diddy trial, and I don't know if you've covered it.
Oh yeah, I haven't covered it on video. I had a lot of ladies yesterday ask me to start making videos on it, and I was like, do y'all really want me to make videos on it when everybody and their mama is talking about it? And they said they want my perspective on it. So, but I've been keeping up with it ever since the first day. So I'm up on what's going on.
Yes. So I just wanted to know, I guess like a couple of things. I would love to get that or to learn from you or get your take on it. But I kind of want to, like, one of the things that I have been seeing is how there has been so much vitriol against and so much support for abusers, and people just, feeling as though like abusers get like a free pass with things when there's documented and clear proof, and going back like to the trial where people are like, well, why didn't she do anything, or why didn't she call the police with that hotel incident? She actually did that. And the police were actually called, but because that video was
Did
removed,
she call the police or did somebody call the police?
she called the police.
I didn't know that. Wow.
That's why the Intercontinental had to really pay her out that
Yeah, they
10
paid her
million.
10 million. But I thought they paid her 10 million because they kept the tape hidden. Because Diddy, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? When Diddy gets a hotel, he rents the entire floor, right? And so if he does some what he did to Cassie, he goes down to the management and basically demand to get the copy of that, or the master. But in this case, they I don't know if they gave him the master or they gave him a copy from the master. I'm not sure. And so because they saw that on their security cameras and they didn't involve the police, that's how they were quick to settle. They didn't even was not even going to try to take it to trial. They were like, yeah, we f***ed up. Here's the money.
Oh no, absolutely. And we should be able to see, depending on when they do their end of quarter, going into it, they should have that technically disclosed, I believe, on their 10K report, because they are a publicly traded company. And had their shareholders had known about that, their shareholders would have, it would have been, they would have lost a lot more, and they had that insurance policy. Basically, she was paid out off of what the maximum insurance policy limits are.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's what that is. And I'm sure they had to come out with some of it out of pocket, but for the most part for that, because it was so many things that happened. First of all, and because they hid that tape, or they suppressed that tape, the witness tampering from the security guard, actually 2 security guards that was there, in addition to him beating on her, him dragging her back to the room, all of those things that had happened, the theft of her phone, that's theft as well. So many different things happen in that video. Because he was able to get that evidence destroyed and everything, she was never able to formally file charges. When you look at the timeline of when that took place, she had 5 years to be able to file charges on him. And I believe when that statute of limitations and everything ended, she got back with her husband, or got with her husband back in 2019, 2020. 2020 was when they, got married and everything. I'm sure that back then, if they had had that video, he would have had her file charges, or he would have.
Gia, hello.
Wanted to, yeah, I'm getting this kind of my call, but yeah, so I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
No, hold on. You was cooking for a second. I really want you.
Yeah.
Okay, you said so in 2020, her husband, and then you went and cut off. So
And
finish that part, and then go ahead and ask me your
when it
question.
comes to their relationship timeline, with that, she had the opportunity, given all of this, and when she'd also given all this, to be able to file those charges against him, those DV charges. And with that being said, she could have, do you know what I mean? But she didn't have the evidence to be able to prove it. By the time all of that happened, or by the time there wasn't any evidence to be able to be like on her side. So when people are not understanding, I don't know if it's intentional or the complexity of like that videotape and everything, to see like that right there. If there were multiple instances of things being videoed, and people just aren't understanding, like, in terms of getting like sympathy from her and saying that she was completely complicit the entire time, and just even outside of that, with their with the proclivities that they were involved in, she could have continuously had 1,000,001 different FOs, for lack of a better word. If at one point
Yeah. I
she
got
had
it.
said no one time, that's still or that's still great.
That
Do you know what I mean?
absolutely.
And people are
So
missing that. And I'm just want to get your thoughts
okay.
on it.
So I'm gonna go to what we're gonna go back in time, to why women like myself did not feel sorry for Cassie in the beginning, right? I'm neutral to it now, but it has nothing to do with the beating. It had everything to do with how she dealt with Kim. So when she was like following behind Kim, and Kim was getting beaten, and Kim was getting R-worded, and Kim was getting all this done to her, right? Cassie was moving in and was teasing Kim, was taunting Kim, was basically saying, yeah, I'm going to be the next one. I'm going to replace you. And was kind of like very unsympathetic to what Kim was going through under Diddy. And then when she moved in that position and replaced Kim, this is when she wanted to this is when the whole thing about, I want to have your babies, because she tried to outdo Kim. That left like, you know what I'm saying, with me. This is way before I knew anything about the FOs. This is way before I knew all of the horrific things he did to her. Like, I don't think Kim caught I don't think she caught half of what Cassie did. Like, especially with the testimony that happened, that she said on the last day. I was like, holy shit. That was just like mind blowing. And that's when I went from not being like I don't get what happened to Cassie, like I'm neutral about it, because I am all about sisterhood, right? I'm not going to get in a relationship. I'm not going to sit up here and watch a man that I'm interested in being with go around and just beat the shit out of some chick, embarrass her, put her face up to the point where she has to get surgery. Because you understand, there was a time that Diddy beat Kim's face so bad that he had to hide her and get her face nurtured before she had to go get some plastic surgery. Now I'm like, holy shit, like, and when you stand by as a woman and you see him do this to his baby mother, because I don't think he married Kim. When you see this do this to the mother of his children, and you think he ain't gonna f your ass up too? So that's when I'm like, oh, where you f around and find out, because the same shit he did to her, he did it to you and then some. So I don't think that I don't think most people that have a problem, who are not being sympathetic to Cassie, are feeling the way because of me. Like I did not feel sorry for Cassie because she was unsympathetic to what happened to Kim. And now Kim dead, right? So she's dead. And I totally believe Diddy did that. I totally believe Diddy killed her, right? He blew up Kitty's car. This is a dangerous man. And you took your poison with your eyes wide open. So now I believe that the reason why most are not feeling sympathetic for Cassie, not because of what I just said, because I'm just letting you know there is a percentage of women who don't like Cassie or don't give a fuck about what happened to Cassie because of what Cassie had done to Kim. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure Cassie feels sorry for that. But I think most don't feel bad because they looked at Cassie like a clout shark, right? They looked at Cassie like, even though Cassie was successful before Diddy, it looks like she was monkey branching and doing hypergamous, which I am for women being hypergamous. I don't have no problem. Get your bag, get this, get that. But when you make a deal with the devil, you know, saying that's what happened. But I please don't think I'm saying that because she was seeking to advance in her career, that justifies any and all of the abuse that she received. I think that a lot of people just lose sympathy when you stay in a relationship that long with a powerful man like that, who does have the potential to remove you from this earth and literally kill you like he killed Kim. He would never allow Kim to have another relationship. And I will say, I'm very, very happy that Cassie found a strong man. Okay. Cause it looked like she couldn't get one that was black. She found a white one that was strong and said, do your very best, do your very worst. Cause I'm not afraid. I'm not, Michael B. Jordan. I'm not Kid Cudi. I'm not any of these. You cannot scare me. And he stood his ground. And I'm like, well, she got a good man. So it was a happy ending for her in the end.
Okay, and I haven't heard that perspective that you have with it. I'm just thinking of not more so her as an example, but what she represents of how people, even just outside of that, how people are talking about DV victims or women that are going through DV. I'm curious to get your thoughts of what do you think the new conversation is going to be around DV given this case? I don't think that there's been like such a big explosive DV case like this since the O.J. Simpson and Nicole Simpson case, where they passed an entire law around things. Do you see things changing in that aspect, like given this case, or what do you think?
No, because it went on for so long unreported. I do know that Diddy will be found guilty. Okay, I don't care what a lot of these vloggers are being paid by Diddy. Like Diddy is doing everything he can to spend all the money that he has access to, so that he's just being vindictive, so that when he is sued, because he's being sued by so many people, that they're not even going to have no money to get anything from his ass. You know what I'm saying? But his team, his PR team is paying a lot of these vloggers to sit over here and say, oh, Diddy's going to get off. Diddy's going to get off on this. You know what I'm saying? The prosecution is not doing their case and blah, blah, blah. This is a fact. Mark my words. And I know this, right? The case is going to go through all of this month, all of next month, and it may finish up during the month of July, right? May finish up in the month of July. They haven't present all their evidence yet. So they had to get Cassie out of the way because she's about to have a baby. You know, so they want to get her out of the way because they know this case is going to drag on. But the difference between this and OJ is that, what was the wife name? Was her name Kim?
Nicole.
Nicole.
It was Nicole, yeah.
Damn. Nicole got the f out of there. Like Nicole was living her life. Nicole, and I'm so proud of Nicole because, Nicole called the police, filed charges, saying, even though like I guess she got he started love bombing her and she'll drop the charge, whatever. But in the end, Nicole f***ed off. Nicole said, I don't deserve this. And she left, and he stalked her. I do believe with all my heart, I don't care if anybody don't like what I'm saying, but yeah, I do believe that OJ killed her and the waiter, because these type of men feel like they own these women. So that's how those laws came about. I just don't see any laws, but I do see one thing, Gia. I do see another law enforcement agency monitoring other agencies, because this is one thing that has been proven, is that there were police officers on the payroll, so that when any of the women or men for that matter report the incident to the police, that nobody within that within that police department could sabotage the report, because that did happen. I think that a new policy will be enacted to prevent corrupt, dirty cops from sabotaging cases to cover up people like Diddy.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I just wanted to get your thoughts. But yes, from what I've seen as well, the prosecution has really already proved their case.
Yeah.
And I think that people kind of miss that, or they
No, they're paid. When you see, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, the number one person I see that's paid to say is Flacco. Okay. Flacco going around talking about, yeah, Diddy, yeah, Cassie just embarrassed, she just messed up. That's like, what? Are we watching the same case? I'm really reading the transcript, but I'm like, how did she that case? And then they're making up lies saying that Cassie cheated on her husband with Diddy. No, she wasn't. They were just friends. They were like, in the dating space, but they were not exclusive with each other. You know what I'm saying? But once Cassie and Alex decided to be exclusive, that relationship went, and God damn, if that didn't prove my point that it doesn't take years for men to know if you're the right one. So they announced that they were an item. Then 6 months later, he proposed. Okay. She gets pregnant. Then he marries her, all within a year, all within a year. And I said, men know if they want to marry you or not. They know if you're the one, right? It don't take no 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Then that's why I'm against women giving wife benefits to boyfriends. If he ain't the husband, stop giving him wife benefits. So Alex is a very good man. I'm very happy for Cassie. She went through hell to finally get to a heavenly stage. And so that's good. But Gia, when you see these people sit up here and twist the facts and just deny evidence, like the same that are defending DDG, you're going to have a so-called Brotherhood United that are going to be against women, but these are men who don't like women anyway, or consider women, they consider us inferior. And therefore they're going to take the position against us no matter what. All right. There's no way somebody should defend OJ and think that Nicole is the villain here. But because these people have such a warped mentality and thought process of women, that they will think that Nicole Simpson deserved what she got and OJ is innocent. You're going to have people like that. But what I do is I recognize who they are. I'm glad that they revealed themselves, and I'll keep it in the back of my mind. So to be used in the future, or if something happened to them in the future.
I guess I'm in the same thing too. I'm in a neutral kind of like thought, and same thing with the case, trying to look at it as neutrally as possible, and really just sticking to the facts. But from what I've seen, they've already really proved the case in the RICO predicates that they're basing it on. So we'll see how things go ahead and evolve. I think everything's going to kind of really lie on the jury instruction. I think they are. Yes. I think the government's going to, I think they're going to, it's really a slam dunk. and he's more than likely going to get out on an appeal from what I've seen. And that's not
You
even
think
including.
so? No,
I think so.
no.
Hmm.
I don't think he's going to get out in the. Okay, tell me why you think he's going to get out in the appeal.
I think that they're going to find a way. I think that they're going to find, like, with this case, they've done like a couple of the government prosecution has done a couple of bad faith things in terms of letting in different types of testimony to kind of taint the jury a little bit. So I think that really opens up an opportunity for defense to have a case to be able to appeal things on.
They can appeal, but even if they appeal, they'll still can be found guilty on the appeal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I think they're going to find something. Yeah.
Every criminal who's been found guilty can appeal the case. But the thing about it is that Diddy got to. The reason why I know, and we'll find out which one of us is right. The reason why I know that when he files for an appeal and he gets it and he gets another trial, he'll still be found guilty, and they'll probably even make it his sentence harder because of the fact that he's wasting time.
I think also when you were talking about the Dawn from Danity Kane, it's not really as simple. In terms of her messing up, a lot of her testimony wasn't able to be used because defense objected against it. So,
well, also it was because they objected against it, and some of that was sustained. It was because there was conflicting statements. However, I have to defend her. Can you remember what type of cereal you ate 10 years ago?
They weren't as hard on her friend Carrie Morgan, though, if she couldn't remember things. Dawn says, remember, she came in on Friday and then she finished up on Monday. So defense was able to write in a motion to be able to take out a lot of her testimony to not be able to be used or questions to be asked on that. She didn't speak to, which I believe that they were trying to prove, was when he had her held in a car and her father had to drive up from Philly up to New York to talk to Diddy about it and press him. And then they let her out of the car. Mm-hmm. That, as well as the treatment in terms of forced labor, different things like that. It wasn't necessarily, like with the Cassie thing, same thing with the mother who testified today. I thought that it was going to be like redundant, but
I haven't heard anything that went on today. I've been so busy today, so I don't know what happened today. So if you tell me anything today, I can't give an opinion about it because I don't know what happened today.
Well, the mother had a very short testimony, and that was about the extortion. And that was where he reached out to her mother and told her that she needed to pay $20,000. And if she didn't, he was going to release a tape of her and Kid Cudi. So the mother had to take out a loan in order to pay Diddy $20,000. So that right there, goes in with the RICO predicate of extortion, and defense had nothing to argue against with that.
Okay.
So it's these little things right here. Like I said, they've already really proved their case. People
with that one, what you just told me, hell yeah. Well, come on, Gia, with that testimony. And like I said, they haven't even finished everything yet. We're on like the second week. Why do you think he's like going to get off on the appeal case?
I think on a technicality. Something on a technical, I don't know yet, but something.
No, it seems like there's some powerful, you don't see it, you don't feel it. Like there's some bigger people who are going to teach Diddy a lesson.
Then if that's the case, then I don't know why, you know what I mean? Then why didn't he just take the 20 years then and take this gamble?
He's very arrogant. The whole rage thing he did in the office, that's why. He really believed he's unstoppable. He really believes he's untouchable. And if you really think about it, his mother groomed him to feel that way. And he has gotten away with so many years, so many abuse, but most of all, a couple of people died. And I think he had a lot to do with those deaths. And like nobody charged him, nobody investigated him, no nothing. So when you go through so many years of that with a textbook narc, this man if he fits every bullet point of a narcissist, why would he not take the 20 years? Why would he believe that he literally believes like, oh, ain't nobody gonna go against me. Oh, I'm fucking Diddy. I'm Puffy. I'm whatever name you want to be called today. He really believes that he's untouchable. That's the reason why he wouldn't take the 20 years. He doesn't believe he did anything wrong.
Okay. Okay. All right. I gotta, I think for me also, I don't have an opinion on what you just said. I'm still even just trying to wrap my head, and I guess I don't know, like how you say he's a textbook narc. I don't understand it enough. The same way I still cannot wrap my mind and understand what kind of man would do the woman who's supposed to be his lady and have her do these different types of, she wasn't like this when they got together, but have her engage in this type of S play or FOs. I still can't wrap my head around that.
I can help you with that.
I can't. You got to walk me through it and hold my hand.
No. It ain't even going to be that. It's not even going to be that far of a walk. His whole ass mother. Diddy is fucked up because his whole ass mother, and those two are on tape. His mother. The first time Diddy saw people have sex, he saw it with his mother.
What?
Yes. So you want to know how Diddy got the way he is? Because of his f***ed up mother. So when you have the very woman that brought you into this house introduce you to sex like that at the young age of 8.
Wait, where did you get this from? Hold on,
you have, wait a minute. The same way I know about what happened to Kim.
Okay.
I'm old school. See, I was around when all of this with Biggie. However, this is common knowledge with his sex relationship with him and his mom. And if you don't believe me, go and look up this video. It should be either on Twitter or it should be on YouTube. You know how Diddy says when they have the FOs, he likes all the women to have white fingernails?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Diddy's mom, with this old ugly ass, blonde, curly ass wig, was getting an IV drip sitting right beside Diddy. And both of them are actually talking in code about how, yeah, mom was getting it in. Mom was getting it in, wasn't you, mommy? She's like, I sure was, baby. You was good too. She's like, yeah, mom, I learned everything from my mom. And then they do it's not a bad kiss, but they do a kiss. And then go look in the comments from old school people like me, like, yeah, because that's the reason why she f***ed up. The reason why Diddy is f***ed up is because of that stupid bitch right there. I don't use that word lightly when I call his mama a hoe. She is just that. Diddy is f***ed up because of his mother. And if you really want to take a deep dive, go look down that street. Now, make sure you haven't eaten anything when you do. I'm not saying that this is an excuse for why he is, but I'm showing you the paper trail. Diddy is f***ed up because his mom is really.
Okay, so what I'm understanding is she gave him a sexual trauma or gave him trauma as a child.
Yes, sexual trauma. He got sexual trauma from his mother and physical trauma from the men that she allowed into her bedroom or into the home while she was raising Diddy by herself.
Okay, because I'm like, again, but the same thing, the workers and stuff, not the S workers or the agencies that they were contracting, none of them have been, not a single woman. There's been it's only been men.
Why would he need to get female escort workers when he can get the regular females to do it for free? Did that make sense what I just said? I can say it.
But there's no other test. Do you know what I mean? None of this. So from what we've seen, there hasn't been any other testimony or anything like that, But I guess I'll give you that.
There was, from my understanding, if I'm wrong, there was no female sex workers. Yeah, why would there though? Do you understand why I'm saying why would he hire female sex workers when you got a plethora of women that you're drugging to get, against their will or willingly? What I'm saying is that there was so many women for him to abuse. He had this table. Remember this now. Here's this table. And at this table, none of the men are allowed to take any drinks from that table. This is the table only for the ladies. And that's because that table was laced with drugs, was laced with roofies, so that the women that are drinking that would be the unsuspected, unwilling victims of SA. Why would you get a sex worker who's hip on the game? Okay. Sex workers, escorts, you can't give them no alcohol. They're not going to drink that shit. They know the ropes. Also, they have either a pimp or a madam, or they have a accountability partner that's going to check in on them. And if they don't show up at a certain time, the police are on the way. That's nothing but a headache. Also, even if sex workers, because people underestimate a lot of female sex workers, like they're very smart. They're very up on their game, right? But also, let's say, for instance, remove the whole thing of they have all the power behind them. Let's just say they just random streetwalkers or whatever. They don't have no pimp. They don't have no madam. They don't have nothing, right? Why pay for a woman to be abused when you can get the drugged women, the women that are roofied, not aware of what's going on, can't even fight back, can't even have any agency over their bodies? That is more appealing to predators than a paid prostitute. You have to understand the psyche of a man to understand why they would never hire a female escort. Did that make sense? If you understand how a predator thinks, that's the last thing they would hire. When you got these type of victims, these female victims, a man would take an unwilling woman that don't want to have sex like that versus a woman who does it for money and is a professional at it.
So, question, is the professional, he's not able to, it's a lesser chance that he's able to take her power from her. Is that what it is?
Wait a minute, who are you calling a professional?
In terms of him getting a professional woman that's an S.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand the psyche. Is it because when you were talking about the psyche of a man, is it because he can't necessarily take her power from her?
There you go. Bingo. Yes, you got it. There you go. Because when it comes to predators, it's all about dominance, control, and power.
So so the female S worker doesn't provide that experience at all for them?
How?
You have taught a master class just now. This is my mind is completely blown, but you Okay. Now it's starting to click a little bit because I still can't.
Okay.
I couldn't understand that. I've been trying to make it make sense and trying to make it work, but I just kept hitting a wall. And I was like, why wouldn't he, you know what I mean? Is it possibly because he, he's more so into like men and everything? Is it because he really feels this way about men, but he has to kind of like almost have her be like a surrogate, kind of having the woman that he's with be a surrogate and be had like that because he knows that he can't really be had by a man like that?
He loves men. He finds security in men. He's attracted to men. He does have sex with men. But women, okay, there's a certain hatred towards women, but there's also a certain envy towards them. And it's all about taking their powers away. And I think a lot of people underestimate. I love women in the sex industry. Obviously, I have to because, as a dominatrix or a pro dom, right? I'm in it, even though I don't have sex. If you ever get a chance to talk to these women, which I have some that are good friends. I even have courtesans that are good friends of mine. These women are on their game. Oh my God. They're so intelligent and smart, and they know how to read people, and they understand the do's and don'ts. But they also have a lot of power behind them. These are women that are highly protected, and you can't fuck with them like saying you can fuck with just random girls. But in the end, Gia, you have to think how a predator would think. Which plate is more salivating? A plate full of unwilling, unsuspecting, gullible, naive women, or a professional that knows her and goddamn will get your ass hemmed up, locked up, or fucking missing if you with her.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes so much more sense now. All right. Thank you. And one last thing too, if you could share like the resources again in like maybe like a thread or something like that so I can reshare it and everything, I would so greatly appreciate it.
On which one? We talked about several things.
On just like any kind of thread for the DV victims. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
please,
sure. I can do
please.
that. Yep. Yep. Okay. I can do that. All right. Okay, ladies. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. And as always, this will be available. But listen, you guys can join my Patreon. I forgot to put the link on the last one, but I'll make sure I put it on this one. But you can join it for free and listen to all of these replays, because when these spaces are over like a month or 2 years, when they're over 2 months old, they delete them, or that's what my experience has been. They have been removing them off of there, and I don't like that. Anyway, so if you want to download this, if you want to replay it, just go to my Patreon for free. This is available in the free section, and you can listen to this and all the past Secret Room XX episodes that we have. Okay.